Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by the channel, J2 Comics and Cards. Today's video, we're going to talk about should you have your comics graded or keep them raw. It's a big conversation in the hobby. People have feelings about the grading companies and some of their practices, and sometimes it's a struggle trying to decide what you should do with your books, right? Keep them in raw format or keep them in graded, send them off for grading. I would say, do some homework. Decide, ask yourself some questions and decide why you're having it graded. Why are you keeping it raw? Right? What does the book mean to you? Is it something about the cover? Is it the artist? Is it the story? Is it a character that you grew up with? Take all of those things into consideration when you're deciding whether you should grade it or have it raw. I would recommend also that see what's out there already. All right? How many times has the book been graded? Most cases, if it's been graded by one of the grading companies, you can go and see how many, grades are out there and make a decision based on that. So this video, we're going to talk a little bit about graded comics, raw comics, how do you make your decision, and what, next steps, like what you could be doing next steps. Now, the first book I'm going to show you is a raw comic, right? So this particular book is the Marvel 2-in-1. The character is Thing and Black Goliath. Now, this, for all those that may not know, this is a raw copy, meaning it's in a bag and board. It's not a slab. It has not gone through a grading process. All right, it's freshly graded, fresh bag and board to protect the comic book. I have a few videos on the channel talking about how to protect your sports cards. We're gonna do some other videos talking about how to bag and board your comics to keep them protected as well. Again, this is a raw copy, but what I want to bring your attention to with this particular book is right here in the top next to the price. You'll see the number 24. What that means is that this is issue number 24 of this particular story. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't send this book off for grading is because of maybe the issue number. All right, so the issue number is 24. So nice book, but just not something that I want to have graded. I think this book will probably do better raw, and it would probably even sell faster raw. But that was a decision I made based on my personal feelings for the book. Now, the next book I'm going to show you, however, I did have graded, and this book, all right, we'll start off with the character. It says Black Goliath, and it's issue number 1. So if you notice right here, that's issue number 1. That means that this particular book is the first issue of the storyline. Has a lot of significant value, a lot of significance to the story because it's the first book to come out. So that's one of the reasons why I had it graded. Second reason why I had it graded was because if you notice, for those that are in the hobby, it has a yellow label. For those that are not in the hobby, a yellow label means that it's been autographed. It's been signed or possibly remarked, depending on the creator. Whenever you can have a book signed or remarked by one of the creators of the book, that's an opportunity to bump up the value of a book, whether it be for your personal collection or if you're planning to resell, you can do both, right? So whenever you have that opportunity to send a book off for signing, if it's in the budget, take advantage of that opportunity. It will definitely benefit the book. Now, in a situation like this, I'm not concerned, yes, about the grade. It came back a 5.5, but because I like the character and the cover, and I was able to get it signed, I'm okay with the 5.5 because I know that this book is not up for sale, that it's going to go in my personal collection. Now, this particular book, and you'll hear me mention this throughout the video, has been slabbed, meaning it's in a hard acrylic case. That's a slab. Versus raw books are just bagged and boarded. Always good to keep it in a fresh bag. Now, The next book I'm going to show is a current book. Came out a few months ago. I believe this past late summer. Is Avengers 17. Now, this is considered, this is looking at the inscription here, this is the Dazzler variant. I love this cover. I'm an artist, and I have great appreciation for this cover. I am an Avengers fan. I love the Avengers. That's one of the squads that I collect the most of the Avengers. And this particular cover, I like it because of the artwork, because of the story, but also the time in history. Right? This artwork is created based on the disco era. If you notice, the main character on the dance floor is Storm. And Storm is, on the dance floor, and she has the Avengers crew in the background enjoying the party with her. Now, this is a cool cover. If you know anything about Storm, she generally wears her hair down. Her hair is normally long, floating in the wind. But in this particular cover, she's rocking an afro, right? So I think that's pretty cool, all right? So when I saw this cover come out, I'm like, I have to have this book. So this is my raw copy. This is why I have this book, right? Now, because I enjoy this book so much, I enjoy the cover and the story, I also have it graded, right? So here's my graded version. Here's my graded copy of that. As I mentioned before, this is a slab. It's a 9.8. It's white pages. Book just came out, so it's nice. It's fresh. It's fresh and clean. All right? This is a cool book. If I had the opportunity to get it signed, I would get it signed, and I would have one for myself, and I would have one for my son. So when I mentioned asking yourself some questions, making those decisions on whether you should have a book graded or keep it, keep it raw, asking myself, who is it for? Was it for me or is it for my son? I want to be able to pass those traditions down. That's why I got back into the hobby of comic books and sports cards, is because I want to be able to pass those hobbies and those traditions down to my son. And so I get books, graded because I want him to be able to hold on to them a little longer and, start his own collection with raw books as well as graded books. So if you have, things like that to consider, do you have family members or kids that you want to pass it down to? That could be a decision maker for you. Here's another book that's been slabbed. Now, I had the opportunity to have this particular book signed 6 times. In the hobby, this is a big deal when you can get a book signed more than once. And so this was a no-brainer, whether to have this graded or raw. This actually started off raw. I took it to one of my local comic book shops, and there was an opportunity that I couldn't resist. It actually took about 5 to 6 months without having my books, but the end result is priceless. All right, yellow label, again, meaning that it's signatures. You can see the signatures on the cover. A Wolverine cover, you can't go wrong. Hands down, you can't go wrong with a Wolverine cover. It kind of speaks for itself. Even if I was to resell that book, which I'm not, it would do well. Those are the types of things you want to consider. Now, in the next book, 9.8, same scenario, X-Men. You have Juggernaut and Dazzler on the cover. And again, signed 6 times. Hands down, no-brainer. This is something that is worth grading. Because they're going into the PC, I had them graded. Now, I want to pause for a moment. If you're reselling, if you're considering having something graded because you want to resell the book, now, that's where you have to do a little more homework. You need to start by finding out, maybe ask around. Would someone even be interested in buying this? Look online, look at some of the apps and see what's the going price for these books, signed, slabbed, or raw. All right, what's the going price? So do a little bit of homework as you're making your decision. And then again, remember, there's no right or wrong answer because it's your book. It's your interest in the hobby, And so the decision that you're making is going to be a good decision because it's something that works for you. So I hope that this video has been helpful. Please leave some comments down in the comment section. If you have a question, please leave it there. If you have some feedback, I would like to know, what comic books are you considering having graded, or you're considering keeping raw? Let's have a conversation about it. I would love to have a conversation with you. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. We're going to have some more videos coming up on comics. We're going to definitely get into how do you protect your comics, how you should store your comics. And then we'll do some, mail openings where we have comics come in and I open them. But if you have topics that you would like to hear about on comics, drop it in the comment section and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll talk to you later.